but you have another little, is this a CD?
Yes, it is.
This is a CD called Mouse in a Bottle. And so I have no idea. I don't even know if I want to, get into all of this, but it is interesting. You sure know how to pique a guy's interest. So you say mouse in a bottle, and of course it shows a bottle here with the mouse in it, and he's holding some cheese in his hands. It says 100 character building stories for ages 5 to 12. Mm-hmm. Just brief me in a couple minutes time here.
My son has an advertising agency. When he goes to talk to his customers, he says to them, I will put together an advertising plan for you. Mm-hmm. But in the back of his mind, he knows the customer is saying, I can write advertising copy. I can do all of this. Mm-hmm. And my son then tells him this. What you're doing is you're inside the bottle trying to read the label on the outside.
Okay.
You're too close. And what you need is somebody on the outside of the bottle telling you how to do this properly. And I really liked his point. Mm-hmm. So what we did was sort of change it a bit, and I said, young people are kind of like the mouse in the bottle.
Okay.
He was attracted to go in, and once he got inside, he couldn't get out, or at least not easily.
Yeah.
But there was a warning label on the outside he didn't pay attention to.
Okay.
And he's like the mouse that got trapped in the bottle. And the only way he's going to get out of that bottle is somebody's going to have to help him out again.
Yeah, and one thing that they do, one time we were building a house as carpenters, and my brother and I had left a little snack of some kind in a sack, and a stray dog came up, and we happened to notice he went in, put his head in to get this snack, but it was like must have been a big little, one of the Little Debbie's, it's one of the big snacks. Or so he grabbed this snack. It was so good he didn't want to let go, but because he wouldn't let go, he couldn't get his head out of the sack. So he was wandering all over the yard, and he was opened up, but had he let go, he could have backed his head out the same way. And so we got the biggest kick and watched this poor little dog, but he wouldn't let go of that. He was going to hang on to that, and so it's kind of the same way, I think, here. So what it is, you can get into that bottle, but it's harder to get out, especially if you're wanting to hang on to, your cheese or whatever you went in after.
So what we say in the mouse in the bottle is simply this. We have 100 true stories of people who were young people, some were old, most are young people, who kind of got in that bottle and got real close to getting into it.
Okay.
And what we've done is taken the stories, written them, gave them a biblical theme, and then afterwards, I have a way of when I tell a children's story, I don't moralize. I don't like that. What I do is I tell the story, and then I ask the kids, in this case, what did I do wrong? Or what did the person do wrong? You tell me. Okay. And that just brings the kids right in.
Okay.
And they make the moral. I don't.
So are you doing the stories on this CD?
No, they're only printed out. What happens is the person who has it,
okay,
they print it out. It has a graphic with it that illustrates the story, a picture, and then they get a coloring page, and they get a word search based on the story.
Okay.
So if the kids come forward in the front of the church, the person, if they wish, we would rather they not, but they could read the story. Okay. And they go from reading the story to then passing out a coloring page and a word search based on the story they've just told.
All right. Well, that's good. What I'd like to do is, for the folks, if you'd like to contact Pastor Marvin, we'd like to put up his address, and you may do so here at this address.
If you are interested in receiving a copy of the book 100 Bible Topics, or one of Marvin's other books, or if you'd like to get in contact with him, then you can write to Marvin Hunt, 308 Fireside Drive, Columbia, South Carolina, 29212. That's Marvin Hunt, 308 Fireside Drive, Columbia, South Carolina, 29212. You can call 803-732-7551. That's 803-732-7551. Or you can visit their website at BibleHistory.com. That's BibleHistory.com. Contact them today.
If for some reason you didn't get that address, you can always contact us here at 3ABN, and we'll try to make sure you get it. We have a few minutes left before we go to a news break, and I hear that you are a pretty good storyteller, and you have, and as you said a while ago, you tell true stories. Does one pop in your mind you can tell us?
It does.
All right.
My wife Judy and I were on a trip to the Middle East, and one of the highlights of the trip was visiting Mount Sinai.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay, comes to mind. Have you been there?
No, well, I've been out there, but I didn't go up.
You
Mount
didn't go
Sinai.
up.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
after I'm finished, you'll be glad probably you didn't. Here we go. We got there, and it was interesting. This is a big event. People from all over the world come there, and I don't know how many. I don't want to get into thousands, but there were literally hundreds and hundreds of people that had come there in busloads to climb Mount Sinai and to be there when the sun rose in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, this is quite a high mountain. It's some 7,000 feet high.
Oh, okay.
It's a big thing. So we get there, and we'll add a little bit of human interest here.
All right.
We get our hotel. It's a 5-star hotel, but we're out in the middle of the Egyptian desert.
Okay.
It's quiet out there. And they tell us, you need to be careful at night and close the shutters on your room because the bandits like to come through and rob the tourists.
Okay.
So what we did was we closed the shutters on our room, but even though this was a 5-star hotel, it didn't have any screens.
Oh, okay.
And it had lots of mosquitoes.
Oh.
What we found was that there were little red dots all over the walls. My wife and I said, what is that? Red dots all over the walls. Well, it's where people had been swatting mosquitoes all night long.
Okay.
So we got there, we're in our hotel room, it's hot, and we finally ended up sleeping on the floor because the floor was stone, and there was no air conditioning or anything of that sort. And finally, 2 o'clock in the
I'm not even going to get into all that, but how they rate a 5-star hotel without air conditioning and screens is beyond me. But anyway,
me
I'll
too.
accept it if that's what you say.
Me too.
That's what they say.
That's what they said. So anyway, we're there. Finally, 2 in the morning came, and we're delighted. We're going to start our trek up the mountain. It's time to go. You know, you're not sleeping. So we get in this caravan of people. An interesting thing. There are camels with their guides that lead them. There are us tourists. All of us have little flashlights to keep our eye on the trail as we're going up. And about 3 o'clock or so, we begin our trek up the mountain. Now, it's something to see because we were near the back, and as you start going up this mountain, the tourists have their little flashlights on, and you can see these lights just twinkling going up the mountain. And it's like a pilgrimage. We're going to the top. So we're hiking and climbing, and it is challenging. And away we go, up and up and up, and finally we get to the top, and we have with us a tour guide who is an archaeologist, very, very well known. And we finally get and claw our way to the very top. It's still dark, but it's just becoming light. And they say, everybody turn around and look this way, and when you do, you'll see the sun come up. It's the big experience, just like Moses did. So we're there, and we've got our eyes turned, and somebody is asking the archaeologist a question about this particular place. And he says, oh, by the way, this is a traditional site. Excuse me, sir. What do you mean, a traditional site?
After several thousand feet.
Yes. 7,000 feet or more.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's a traditional site? Well, they said, you know, if you'll look out in the valley, you'll see that there's not enough room down there for the Israelites to have camped.
Oh.
It's too small. Well, what are we doing up here? And he said, actually, you should be on the next one over, and the valley out there is big enough they could have camped. So what are we doing here? He said, well, this is a traditional site. Okay, what do you mean by that? Well, the monks in the monastery at the bottom of the mountain put steps on this mountain.
Oh, okay.
Because it was easier.
It's easier. Okay.
So here we are. We have climbed all the way to the top of what we thought was Mount Sinai
Yeah.
to see the sun come up, only to have somebody say, you know, this ain't really the place.
Wow. That's pretty deep when you get to think. What lessons did you draw from it?
Well, think about that.
Yeah.
Could a person spend lots and lots of their life energy
Much of their life.
climbing the wrong mountain?
Wow.
And when you get to the top and you look around and somebody says, you know, this is a traditional site.
Yeah.
Maybe there is something very important to making the Bible come alive,
Right.
to studying and making it your own and seeing the characters of the Bible just come off of the page. And when you read it, the characters just begin to move, so to speak. And it does something to the Lord, works on your heart in a little different way. You begin to understand these people.
Wow.
Anyway,
Yeah.
climbing Mount Sinai.
That's good. It really is. Now let me ask you this question: does any groups go up the real Mount Sinai, or is that, I mean, as tourists, or no?
I think the word is no.
The word is no. So there's not even another, like you were just with the wrong tour group.
No,
or anything.
no, not at all.
That's where everybody goes.
Yeah,
Up
it's
there. Okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't go up there and do all of that to that particular site. Well, they say time flies when you're having fun, and I have to admit I've had fun. I've done thousands of interviews, and I've enjoyed this a lot. Pastor Marvin, thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming here today and sharing, what God has given you. I love this. 100 most inspiring, most controversial, most taboo Bible topics. And the way you explained it is looking at the people behind the scenes to make things very interesting and to give us a view that maybe some of us have never seen before. So I'd encourage the folks to order this book. Contact Pastor Marvin Hunt at the address that we gave a little earlier. And also, I think this is a great idea, the little mouse in a bottle CD that for kids 5 to 12. You print it out, and the little stories and all of that are true stories. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for your ministry, for what you do for the cause of God. And we support you, and we just pray God's richest blessings on you and your family as you continue. Though you're retired from pastoring, you're not retired at all. You're still working for Jesus.
Amen.
And for our folks at home, again, we want to thank you for your love, prayers, and support. Our time is all gone. Until we see you next time, may the Lord richly bless you abundantly more than you could ever ask or think.